4 young people went deep into the Amazon rainforest in search of gold mines. As a result, 2 of them have not been heard from so far. One of them survived in the Amazon for 21 days with only a lighter and mosquito repellent. The incident was later turned into a movie jungle. In 1981, in a bar in La Paz, Bolivia, 21-year-old Yossi had just finished his Israeli military service. He was penniless and restless. Like all young people who indulged in adventure stories, he was tired of a dull and long life and longed for a vigorous adventure. In La Paz, he met 2 like-minded backpackers. Kevin, a casual and calm photographer, and Marcus, a gentle and restrained teacher. The 3 of them have very different personalities, but they share the same obsession. They go far away and witness the scenery of the homeland has never been seen before, until the appearance of Carl, which rewrote the fate of the 3. This older man has a calm demeanor and is sophisticated in his speech. He claims to be a geologist who has been deeply involved in the interior of Bolivia for many years. A tempting legend of the secret realm, hidden in the depths of the rainforest, are primitive tribes who are isolated from the world. In the hidden river channels that no one has stepped foot in, the sand grains of the riverbed are covered in gold, waiting for those who are destined to discover. Lost tribes, no secret realm, and gold everywhere. This speech accurately hit the adventurous ambitions of 3 young people. They have no friendship with Carl Sume in their life. They have never verified the authenticity of his identity, but they are willing to risk their lives. They follow this strange man and step into the unknown, desperate situation outside the map. Several people purchase supplies, turn cars and boats, and march all the way to the rainforest at first. The journey was like a dream. Full of green and endless, the apes in the forest played. The river water was as clear as green glaze, but the romantic illusion collapsed in an instant. The cruelty of the rainforest gradually revealed. The hike became more and more laborious. The supply quickly dried up. The sultry heat caused anxiety. Exhaustion and irritability enveloped everyone. The rainforest was never kind. It would only accurately defeat the most vulnerable people in the team. The gentle Marcus fell first. The humid environment, the long trek, the inferior boots worn out his feet. He kept falling behind, stopped frequently. The progress of the whole team can only accommodate the fragile. He slowly advanced. After the food was completely exhausted, a few people could only shoot the monkey impact. For the kind and soft Marcus, he could not break through the psychological defense line. It was the monkey who was increasingly entangled weak. He formed a dazzling contrast with his compatriots who were forced to be tough, and the cracks in the team quietly bred. Everyone was tired and hungry, trying to go deep into the gold mine basin promised by Carl. But they were forced back step by step by the complex and dangerous terrain. In the end, he retreated to the turbulent canyon riverbank in embarrassment. It was here that the whole team fell apart. In the desperate situation, everyone finalized an escape plan for rafting down the river. But Carl, who claimed to have been deeply plowing the rainforest for many years, senior geologist, can't even swim. All about the legendary past of the Golden Tribe and deep plowing in the interior is a complete lie. He has always been a layman, a liar. As for why Carl fabricated lies and lured everyone into danger, this mystery has not yet been revealed. After the collapse of trust, the team was divided. Carl, who was afraid of the river, took his feet to fester, and the staggering teacher Marcus chose the road to hike back. Yossi and Kevin, who were familiar with water, built a woodcut on the spot, intending to go down the river and go to the downstream village for a quick escape. The 4 hurriedly said goodbye and agreed to meet again at Christmas. 2 completely different paths of life have separated the fate of the 4 since then. Yossi and Kevin pushed the woodcut into the river and drifted down the river. As the canyon narrowed, the current became turbulent, and the simple woodcutting was out of control. The 2 struggled to use the branches to support the rock to avoid danger, but the rapids were coerced. The woodcut hit the boulder hard and disintegrated in an instant. Both of them were thrown out of the valve. Kevin was closer to the shore, struggling desperately to get ashore, and Yossi was nowhere to be seen when he turned his head. The violent current locked Jose tightly, dragged him all the way, fell straight to the roaring waterfall, hit and drowned without gravity, and the river pressed him hard under the water, far beyond the limit of his lungs. When the ice died, the torrent finally spat him into a smooth water. He tried his best to climb up the lone rock and survived. The towering waterfall was between him and Kevin, becoming an insurmountable Tianqian. He roared and shouted everywhere. All that responded to him was the sound of endless water. For 4 whole days, he searched back and forth along the riverbank. Left a mark, kept shouting, stared at the other bank. Expectations failed again and again. The indifferent rainforest swallowed up all the sounds and wiped out all luck. Yossi recognized the reality. He was alone and trapped in an uninhabited rainforest the size of a small country. There is only a small amount of residual food left by his side. A lighter and a small can of mosquito repellent. He pinned his only hope on the downstream gold mining camp Carl had mentioned. Kuruplia, hoping to find people, shelter and food. But when he arrived after all the hardships, he only saw the abandoned and dilapidated hut empty and lifeless. And Kevin, who was alive on the other side of the waterfall, was making a choice to rewrite the fate of Josie on the 6th night of being trapped. Josie woke up and found a Jaguar hovering not far away, staring at himself. He had no weapons in his hand. In a hurry, he lit it with a lighter, and the sprayed medicine was made into a simple flamethrower. The Jaguar was forced back by the powerful flame shot. This incident also made him always realize that he was just prey in the rainforest and could die at any time. Bolivia rainy season, the torrential rain continued. The river swelled overnight, and the flood flooded the river where he temporarily lived several times. On the beach, he fell into the swamp and quagmire more than once, and climbed out with all his strength. It was hot and hot during the day, and the rain was damp and cold at night. After soaking in the muddy water for a long time, his feet were festering, and the walking pain was unbearable. At this time, Yossi did not know it. Kevin, who was on the other side of the waterfall, never gave up on him. After Kevin went ashore, he endured the pain of festering his feet. He searched on the shore day and night, screaming for help, refusing to accept the fact that his friends showed him. After searching and rescuing alone to no avail, he ventured into a log and drifted out of the canyon. He was rescued by the local natives. After arriving in the town, he exhausted all his connections, ran to help every person with a boat and ability, and frantically pushed forward the search and rescue work. It was also at this time that the truth was exposed, and the consulate told Kevin that Carl's identity was purely fake. He was not a geologist at all, but a wanted fugitive. The guide who everyone risked their lives to follow turned out to be a fugitive. The search and rescue from the outside world had already started, but Yossi, who was deep in the rainforest, knew nothing about it. On the 14th day, the threat of the Jaguar was fading away. The repellent was about to run out, and his body and will were on the verge of collapse. On the 17th day, he heard the echo of a long-lost human voice, and a faint but clear aircraft engine came from the sky. Wengming, this is the most moving hope in a desperate situation, and it is a signal to return to the world. But the towering tree canopy, more than 100 feet high, interwoven into an airtight green dome, completely obscured everything on the ground. The search and rescue plane passed smoothly, without circling, without stopping. Still and far away, the last glimmer of hope was shattered. His spiritual defense was cracked. Extreme loneliness, hunger and pain distorted his cognition. On the 18th day, there was a strange young woman by his side, who accompanied him all the way, never leaving, weak and in a trance. He had no time to delve into the origin of the other party, and he was full of gratitude. He built a camp for him to clean up the site, and carefully took care of this comfort in a desperate situation. But when he turned around and reached out to touch the other party, his body was empty and the figure completely dissipated. He finally woke up that the woman who accompanied him was just a complete illusion made up by his brain to resist. Extreme loneliness, followed by a fear that went deep into the bone marrow. After the high-altitude search and rescue failed, Kevin did not give up. He was sure that his friends were still there, and resolutely gave up the inefficient aerial search and hired local, the boatman Tico, set up the boat upstream and went deep into the uninhabited rainforest to investigate step by step. After 3 days of search and rescue to no avail, the boat was about to return and give up. At this moment, the rushing river pushed the hull to drift, bypassing an unnoticed river. The bay just stopped beside the dying Jose on the shore heard the gradual sound of the engine, but he could no longer tell the difference between the real and the real. He experienced the deception of hallucinations. He could no longer believe in any hope, but the sound became more and more real. Among the thick trees, the outline of the hull clearly appeared, and the body on the verge of dissipation in the quagmire was Jose, who had been missing for 21 days. Kevin jumped into the shallows and hugged this friend who had escaped death by Gulingshan. The warm and real hug ended his 21-day purgatory torment. 4 dream chasers who stepped into the Amazon finally. Only 2 people walked out of purgatory and chose the waterway to face the dangerous. Yossi and Kevin, they survived the disaster. Lulu, who seemed safe at the beginning, returned home but devoured Marcus and Carl forever, the gentle and kind teacher who couldn't bear to kill, and the liar who used lies to demagogue people, walked into the jungle together. Since then, there has been no news and no trace. What happened on the way has become a permanent unsolved mystery in the Amazon. After being rescued, Yossi recuperated in the hospital for a full 3 months, before barely repairing his body, ravaged by the rainforest. In 2017, Daniel Radcliffe starred in the movie The Jungle, which was adapted from his personal experience. In his later years, he summed up young people, don't believe in the ambitions of strangers because of a momentary passion. The wilderness never believes in romantic fantasies, and life is never a complete desperate situation. Whenever you are in deep trouble, is struggling and want to give up, please remember that this 21-year-old boy in the ruthless purgatory of the Amazon survived a life. The content of this issue is here. We will see you next time.